What's good? What's good? Welcome to the Cannabis Closet, y'all.
What up? What up?
Smoking if you got him. It's 4:20 on the Mountain Standard Time. Not quite
Hi,
on
hi, hi.
Let's smoke them if you got him.
Smoke them if you got them. I just realized I need to pack a freshie, restart all my things, all my screens shut down.
I'm like trying to smoke and it's not even ready. I'm just like inhaling the terpenes of it all.
So we're ready. Apparently our smokes aren't ready.
I'm ready. What's up next? What's up, Schnooks? Loyal viewers, thank you for being here. We're talking about some important shit today. Oh, that reminds me.
As we do every day. Hello.
We do talk. But should we do the disclaimer? Or should we wait for more people to get in here to do this?
Let's wait for more people, and I think we should probably, we should do it like in our middle break too, like reiterate that we are,
we are not going to watch our mouths.
We are not watching our mouths.
Not at all. That one got me. What are y'all smoking on? Tell me. Hey, listen, y'all got to start joining me in the mornings for this workout.
I didn't do any today, but I got my squats in the past couple days.
You don't have to work out with me. You can. I hope I motivate you to do so. But really, just come hang out. Also, if this doesn't motivate you to work out, look at this. I just started doing pull-ups and I started getting this little bit right here. Look at that. You know you want that.
I do.
You know.
But I got to get ready for ski season, so that's why I'm like definitely starting the squats. Like I gotta get my legs ready. I gotta get my knees and ankles.
Maybe I'll go this year. I didn't do anything last year. Honestly, I really suck at being a winter sports woman.
Do you have the appropriate warm weather clothing?
I have warm weather clothing.
Okay.
I have a snowboard. What's up, Margot? I have a snowboard. I have the dopest boots, although they do have pink laces, which I'm not really into that kind of shit, but whatever.
Pink works every once in a while.
Every once in a while. Oh, yo, real quick before I finish my snowboarding adventures. Happy birthday, Tupac. Woo woo.
Woo woo.
We miss you. Anyways, so that's why I'm wearing this shirt today in honor of Tupac. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't go last year. Every time, okay, and then when I snowboard, I don't leave like, what's up, Tony? I don't leave the bunny slopes. Listen, I'm 44 years old. I could break something. I don't know what I'm doing. I fall a lot.
I'm gonna get you. I'll get you out there with Marla. You and Marla can just hang out in the lodge. I'll go.
I don't hang out in the lodge. I like being on the hill. I like it. It's an adventure.
Down the mountain.
But I don't know how to stay upright is the problem. I do like to snowshoe though too, so I could do that. And I've never skied before. I like snowboarding. I like that better, I think. I don't know. How can I say that?
And go snowshoeing around, because I've not done that as much. So I have snowshoes and have for a couple of years now. That's not some I don't necessarily go by myself. And then snowboarding, I just I've been doing it for 20 plus years, and intermittently though, with living in Florida. And
you don't snowboard in Florida.
No, I used to come out here. That's before I moved here. I used to come out here for vacations and such, and learned that way. And then when I moved here, I was pretty confident, and now I can throw myself down the mountain with the best of them. So
it's impressive. I want to be a good snowboarder, and I know sort of the fundamentals of staying on your feet. I just can't do it yet.
Well,
so like, my mind and my body are not.
I'll come ride with you, and because even like I'll ride with everybody. I don't care. I just like being outside and on the mountain too. So I'm all day long and wait for you to fall down the mountain until you get to me. But it pushes you. It pushes you to, like, when you ride with someone with a higher level, it pushes you to do better. Yeah,
Right.
at least that's for me. So when I ride with people that are more advanced with me, or I ride with skiers, I have to push myself a little bit harder so that I can keep up. And
right.
so because I don't like to not.
Things Canna Queen is afraid of: falling down a mountain and breaking every bone in her body.
Well, I am scared of that, but I think more of the sense of, if I'm going to go out, hopefully it'll be doing something I love, and I'll be okay with that because I've lived a really great life. Is how I try to, approach that situation. Yeah. Yeah.
So when I first, you guys, whoever's just joining us, welcome to the Cannabis Closet podcast. There are a few of you in here now, so I just want to give a quick disclaimer that we are explicit content. Don't want to offend anybody. If you feel offended by things like fuck or worse, then this might not be the place for you, and that's okay. And that's okay. We understand.
Okay.
We support you, and however you feel about
just
that.
Share us. If you can't take us, and share us with your friends that can.
Yeah.
If we're too much for you, then send us along to those that
who need this much.
Who need
if we're too much, I'm sure there's less out there. That's my new thing right now. If I'm too much, go find less, because I'm not gonna be less. So
don't be less. Don't be
not gonna be. It's impossible. It gives me a headache, honestly.
Yeah, it's like lacking. It's like when you're deficient in caffeine. You kind of get angry.
Let me tell you guys about the time that I almost got my Dateline episode when I first moved here. So I'm really super outdoorsy and everything, but my knees are kind of fucked up because, well, especially my right knee. I was in a motorcycle. What's up, Joshua? I was in a motorcycle accident when I was 18. This moron that was driving a motorcycle that he was not supposed to be driving. He was working with this guy that owned a shop. The guy said, you could ride that motorcycle, which was like a little barely put together thing, whatever. But he didn't want to ride that. He wanted to ride the little crotch rocket. So he took this other bike out, and it was already sold. So that's a problem. But he took this bike out, and then he picked me up from work, and he was taking me home. And I'm from the South, and I lived, they had just paved the road that we were on, but my road was still a dirt road. So, anyways, we're coming around the corner of the paved road, and he loses control of the bike. He ends up having to lay the bike down. The bike lands on my knee. We go through this person had like a yard on the corner. The bike lands on my knee and then spins out and into the woods across the street, across the dirt road and into the woods. And that could have been us. I was wearing I was wearing long pants, but I was not, in fact, wearing long sleeves. I did have a helmet on, but not a mark on my arms at all, nothing. And my knee, it landed on my knee. So I did have a pretty large size like hematoma, but nothing broke. I was pretty lucky about it. But I did have like a bruise for like 3 years plus. You could still see like a little gray spot on my knee after that. And then I have all kinds of, sometimes they hurt. Sometimes they suck. So anyway, what was the point of that? Why was I telling you about my bad knees? Probably because we were talking about snowboarding.
Well,
I don't know. Maybe y'all could tell me, but I have not the greatest knees. Oh, I was telling you about how I almost got my Dateline episode.
Yeah.
I can't forget that. So my knees are shot. That was a pre-story to the almost getting my Dateline episode. I was not going to have a speaking part if I got my Dateline episode at this point in time.
Not like that one. No.
Just want to let you know that. So we first moved to Colorado. My husband got here 3 months before me. And then when I got here, it was like December. And then it was crazy because in January, on the 1st of January, we had this huge water main burst thing happened in our apartment. So that was a warm welcome from Colorado. And then the day, I think like a couple weeks later, we had decided that we were going to go on a hike, and it was on a Sunday, and it was the day before school started, and I was registered to go finish my fucking college degree finally, right? So we go out on this hike at Mesa Verde, and it is a lot of uphill, and there's a lot of spots where there's still like impacted ice and snow. So in those spots, my feet were kind of slipping a little bit, and it was fucking with my knee. And my knee started swelling. And we get up, and we're not even, we're kind of, I guess, at the halfway mark. The sun's starting to go down and everything. And I can't, and I'm like, I don't know if I can go up any further because my knee is now swollen. It's big. And so, and now because I'm overcompensating, my other knee is starting to hurt too. So then he says, well, because he was a park ranger at one point there. And so he says, just stay here. I'm going to go check some stuff out. And he goes and he scouts some shit out. And he's like, come on, we're going to go this way. It was like a shortcut, right? This shortcut goes from like being like this to like just slowly just like this. So we're on a flat surface, but it's starting to incline, and we're sliding at this point. And there's all these little tiny bushes that are dead because it's winter time. And I'm like trying to hold on to them. My dogs, which are both lab mixes, so they're not small dogs. Here he is. Because they're not small dogs, they're like refusing to go through this, and we're dragging them through. And then finally, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like, we're going to die here. This is it. This is it for me. We get this huge boulder. It's huge. And he goes, we got to go over the boulder. My knee is swollen. I can't bend my knee. Like, we have to go over this huge boulder. So, and I want to tell you guys, I had proper footwear. I had like the Yak Tracks on and everything. Like, I had hiking shoes. I had proper footwear and everything. It was just slippery out there. It was.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like, it doesn't matter how prepared you are. Your body
right
does
right
what it does.
So, and also side note, I had been living in Virginia for, the previous 6 years, I think. And we didn't have hiking. We don't have, snow hiking. There's not that. That doesn't happen. So anyways, well, at least not where I lived. So we get over the boulder, you guys. I did not get my episode, and it's fine. That's why I'm here today. We get over the boulder. I'm freaking out. I'm like, don't let my dogs die. I would rather die before they die. Like, I'm like freaking out. I'm having a whole ass meltdown that we're all going to die there. And I was like, he's going to kill us. Like, he took us on this shortcut, and then we're going to die here on the side of this mountain. And I get on the other side of that boulder, and it's back on the trail, and we're going downhill. And I was like, well, that wasn't so bad, was it?
Oh, what our brains do to us.
It was so great. It was so great. So anyways,
nature is scary. You are correct. It is, but I meet it head on. I love being outside, and
I do too. It's my favorite. You can't try to kill me on the side of Mesa Verde today. Now I'm prepared for Mesa Verde today.
Today, yes. And what's scary now is the creepazoids that possibly, watching all the Criminal Minds that I watch, and also knowing that Colorado is the kind of a weird. There are a lot of serial killers in Colorado.
Yeah, we got a lot of places to put bodies where you would never find them.
Not for exactly.
I'm not saying anything except what I'm saying.
I've taken
service I provide.
I've gone off like off trails that on a trail and just kind of been like, oh, this is a worn trail, a worn path. Let's hook a right. And Dr. B and I have been on hikes and found like open spaces that have been cleared out, and it's like campfire set up, and it's like in the middle of you'd have to like hike everything up. People are crazy up here.
People are crazy, and most of them are white. So I'm just gonna say that for the record.
That's true. Most of
white people are crazy.
Okay.
Keep that in mind when interacting with somebody who looks like me. What are we talking about?
What are we talking about today?
Let's do some headlines. I want to do some headlines.
One thing, while earlier before we started, if anyone tuned in, we had our little promotion for the Communities of Color event happening in Philadelphia during Black Cannabis Week. So
September 25th, right?
Yeah, September 25th. Yeah,
that's our friend Jason Mitchell is promoting that and helping put that event together. And similarly, you guys are going to remember Jason from when we did the last Communities of Color event, and from he's co-hosted with us also. So yeah, check it out. If you're in the area, definitely get some tickets. Go see what's up.
Right.
Some headlines today. There's a couple of good ones. California lawmakers are advancing legislation providing for medical cannabis use in hospitals. So there's a Senate Bill 311. It's called Ryan's Law. Provides for terminally ill patients to use cannabis within the healthcare facility. So if you're terminally ill, and in California, there's a bill that's in the Senate right now, California Senate, that's being considered to allow cannabis to be provided for terminally ill patients. That's a step in the right direction. And of course, it's coming from California because pioneers in the industry, right? There are countries that allow that. They have, like, when you're in hospice, they have they provide vape pens, and they allow for, use of oils and things like that. Obviously, you would not be able to smoke a blunt in a healthcare facility. It would be purely a medicinal situation where oils and things of that nature would be provided. But this is good. I mean, definitely. Let me tell you something. If my way out is going to take longer than this, then I definitely want cannabis to assist my days until it's time to say goodbye. So I think this is a good idea. This one. Texas expansions to the medical cannabis laws take effect. I'm getting these headlines off of normal.org, by the way, NORML.org. If you guys want to read more about these stories. Texas NORML and other advocates had sought to further amend the bill to include eligibility for chronic pain patients and to raise the THC to 5%. Right now, they only have it's a low THC. It's high CBD products, low THC products. House lawmakers agreed to the additional changes, but members of the Senate ultimately removed those provisions. Oh, that's going to lead us right into our topic today. It really is. So I'm skipping some of these stories because they are about our topic. Okay, and Colorado State NORML affiliate urges no vote on ballot proposal to increase retail taxes on adult use marijuana sales. Of course. You know what? Every time there's a problem in life, you know what happens? They go, oh, well, we legalized cannabis, so let's just charge them more for it. Don't worry about the other industries across this great nation that could help provide for whatever it is that we need to pay for through our tax dollars. Never mind that people like, Jeff Bezos, for example, are not paying 1 cent in tax money and then building spaceships to go to other planets while ours is dying. You could tax Jeff Bezos and pay for a lot of shit. Colorado and America.
I think I saw pictures of the 3 millionaires that are in this space race, and the headline was like, billionaires that are not taxed enough, because obviously they're having a space race.
I don't listen. There's nothing wrong. Listen, check it out. There's nothing wrong with being a millionaire, a billionaire, or whatever.
Not at all. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying the fact.
Not at all. But what we have an issue with is that these people with all of this money are not paying. They're not paying their employees so that their employees can live in dignity. Okay. They're not, they call themselves philanthropists, right? But their philanthropy is just like a paper headline. It's like a headline in the papers. The other day I saw that Amazon is providing college tuition to those who wish to go to college. But like, when are they going to go to college? Amazon, you don't even let them take bathroom breaks and they live in their car. Like, what are you talking about right now? So anyways,
in Amazon's dream world,
Colorado NORML is urging voters to decide against Initiative 25, opining that excessive taxation on regulated marijuana products will drive consumers back to the illicit market. Not a lie. That is a very true statement.
Very true.
This ballot initiative is an unnecessary tax burden, and you continue to put it on cannabis, Colorado and every other state and everybody else. Stop putting it on us. Just because we're here doesn't mean that you should just nickel and dime us to death. I mean, really, it's a feature, not a flaw. We know that, right? We can understand that. They're doing it because they want their cake. They want to be able to eat it too. Okay, we want to provide a situation where we can eliminate the underground and illicit market. Those are words that they say that I sincerely do not believe, because if you wanted to eliminate the illicit market, you would make the regulated market more accessible.
Thank you.
That's it. That's it at the end of the day. And continuing to pile taxes. When I need to do this more often because I tell you guys to do it, but obviously there's no in-person meetings happening and things like that. But when I was working, when I was behind the counter, I would let employees go home early or whatever they needed to do, with the understanding that they had to make up the hour I let them off early by being in the city council meeting. You don't have to say anything. You just got to be there. You got to be there to represent. And hopefully that would encourage them to have something to say and to get involved, really. But we really do need to be in the room. And here's the thing, I've argued against this in my own town, is like, why are you putting the tax burden on our shoulders when there are so many other businesses in this? Put the tax burden on all of us. If you're going to put it on one of us, put it on all of us, because this is all of our town. This is all of our state. This is all of our country. Right.
Yeah.
Don't burden one industry.
Right. And it's fun and not funny, but the tobacco industry actually did just or at least Colorado up here in the mountains, they have started additional tobacco taxes. And so it's like a 40% tax on tobacco products, anything tobacco related. And so it has changed the face of these head shops that operate, that sold tobacco related products, even, and so they've had to kind of adjust as well. And, but when we talk about, yes, those other industries in taxation, it's like all of ours, it's like, oh, it has to be directed towards something. Well, are they? And I know that for tobaccos, there's some of the tax, and because of it, and why they're required to advertise the way that they do is because of the lawsuits that happened.
No, pause. For those of you who don't know, tobacco used to advertise on TV, on billboards, in magazines, everywhere. You could see, and they used to
Camel Joe.
Camel Joe. They used to advertise with cartoons. I, as a child of the 80s, had figurines of Camel Joe with cigarette in his mouth. I had all of that. So they were marketing to children. They were marketing to children. Here's a question. Would you rather pay higher state taxes or listen, paying higher state taxes is not going to stop Big Pharma from coming in. They're already here. They already own a lot of the MSOs that we see, which is multi-state operations, for those who don't know the lingo. They are already here. They are already big tobacco, Big Pharma. They are already in the cannabis space.
Big Cannabis is already in your cannabis space.
That is who Big Cannabis is. That, make no mistake about it. These big cannabis, these big operators, a lot of them came from Big Pharma. A lot of them come from tobacco, and they're still lobbying against us. They're playing their game. They're lobbying against cannabis while making money in cannabis. Are you kidding me right now?
and changing the way of cannabis, you know, taking,
I had t-shirts and shit. Sorry. I had t-shirts and shit of this. I had everything.
Well, yeah, you know, I remember we're did you, was the Big Johnson shirts big in your area? Like, I don't, you know, that whole, like, you got to turn it around if you're wearing it. And that's how we're, you know, that's where, you know, the things start as far as like dress codes and, you know, what you're allowed to wear or see, or, you know, being assaulted at our eyes.
I wore Camel Joe to school. I wore a cartoon camel with a cigarette hanging out his lip, sunglasses to school.
They would have made us turn it around. They would have been like, turn your shirt inside out. Go your parent has to bring you another set of clothes. Like, they would not allow any kind of
I didn't get in trouble for that. I got in trouble because one time I went to school. Okay, I am a full-grown woman now. Okay, I was a child in high school, and I was built like a child in high school. And I was wearing a little shirt, and it came off the shoulder, like off one side of the shoulder. And my bra strap, the bra that I did not need to wear, my bra strap was showing. And somebody saw me in the hall and said something about it, a teacher. And I was like a progressive child. I was like, really? This is a problem? Like, come on. But I could wear a cigarette camel to school. Yeah, the cool shirts. Everybody wore cool shirts to school. Everybody wore that shit.
I don't think we had the cools as much down in Florida. Maybe not.
I mean, I went to high school in South Carolina, and my family's from the South. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
All that. Yeah. Anyways, so we got just big pharma and everything. We are talking today, though. What we want to talk about today is your rights, actually, and how they're being hindered or suppressed.
Specifically, 3 states today. I think
3 or 4 states. We have 3 on our mind. Who do you want to start with?
I mean, do we want to tell all 3 and then we'll just toss it up in the air? The Mississippi, Montana, and South Dakota. All recently, they all passed some form of legalized cannabis on election day, and are now, things have stalled. Statements from representatives are being said of, you know, completely uneducated BS.
Yeah. So there's a couple others too, because Florida too is dragging their feet on the adult use bills.
I totally understand the Florida thing. I wouldn't. They can't. I don't know. Just even.
No, I don't. If the voters pass it, the voters passed it.
No, I'm just saying that.
That's the language that I mean, this is what we're talking about, though. You can't ask. You can, apparently you can, especially if you're, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I'm not going to tell you, I don't give a shit what party you're in. By the way, explicit language is going to be used here. I don't care about any of that, but let's be very clear that Republican led states are rescinding these bills, are creating lawsuits against their citizens.
You read off a whole list earlier of states that were Republican led and had voted for cannabis.
And then elected a Republican official who was against cannabis.
Yes.
That's what's happening in South Dakota.
Specifically, which are like all my articles are on 3 different pages right now.
The one that I was, so this one's on the normal website, the one I'm about to pull up here, and I'm not putting it on the screen or anything for you guys. That's Megan's thing. That's not my thing. But
which one are you reading off of? Are you coming?
South Dakota lawmakers seek to repeal the vote permitting home cultivation of medical cannabis. So Republican Governor Christie, was it Noam? She campaigned against this measure to allow home cultivation for medical cannabis consumers prior to the election. Prior to the election, she campaigned against this and still got elected. I don't know. That could be a problem. So after she gets elected, now she files a lawsuit to reverse what the voters said they were cool with and they wanted.
Is this the South Dakota one, repealing permitting home cultivation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They want to formally rescind the language in the law that permits patients to grow up to three marijuana plants, cannabis plants. A majority of House and Senate lawmakers would still need to approve those recommendations before they could take effect. Under the law, state regulators must begin issuing identification cards to qualified patients by May 15th, 2022. There's and then also, see, here's okay. Lawmakers are bullshit. I'm just going to say that. Here's the bullshit of it. They also had another amendment on the ballot. And it was for adult use cannabis. 54% of South Dakota voters decided on election day in favor of the measure. However, their governor, who they elected, who is supposed to be a representative for the people, okay, has facilitated litigation seeking to strike down the law as unconstitutional. And there's a judge in the state, in the Sixth Circuit Court. Her name is Christina Klinger, and she ruled in favor of the challenge. She said that the measure violates state requirements that ballot measures not encompass more than one topic. So they wouldn't be able to vote for both a medical cannabis legislation and adult use cannabis legislation on the same ballot, according to this. They've yet to render a decision. It's in the let's see, it's been appealed. It was appealed in April. There's yet to be a decision of either upholding or striking down the lower court's decision. So this is what we're talking about today. When you, a voter in your state, vote for something and it's unanimous or not unanimous, that's the wrong word. Sorry, take that back, strike that, cut that out. But it is a majority rule, and the majority has said 70% of voters, you guys, have said this is what we want. And then the person you vote for, who is supposed to uphold the will of the people, goes in and makes their own decisions about life and says no, and goes in and litigates it. I'm like, what? Why are we electing people who are not going to listen to what we want and what we have to say? You gave us a vote for what? Why did you even give us a vote? For the illusion that we have a choice?
So what do we do now that these people are in office and they are continuing to not listen to us? And this is, again, where we say, join those groups that are connecting or lobbying for your rights. Try to be in the room, be in the digital room, digital space, writing the letters.
This is why we harp on this, because this is happening. So I talked about Mississippi. I'm just going to talk about this off the top of my head because I read this a couple weeks ago. But Mississippi overturned the voter approved legislation for medical cannabis in the state. And the reason that they did it was complete bullshit. They said that they didn't get enough signatures from all of the congressional districts, or from the required amount of congressional districts in the state. According to their laws, legislation, constitution, they have to have signatures from all five congressional districts, or from at least 5 congressional districts, is what it says, something to that effect. So So at least 5 congressional districts. The problem in Mississippi is that there hasn't been 5 congressional districts in Mississippi since the 90s. And so what the group did, who got this initiative on the ballot, was they actually did their due diligence and went back into the books and made sure that they got signatures from all 5 congressional districts that happened to be in Mississippi prior to there only being 4 congressional districts. So they actually did get the signatures, but because the 5th congressional district or whatever is no longer recognized, the court threw it out as an illegal ballot measure. So the voters voted on it, and the court threw it out and rescinded it. And what do you do?
What do you do? I mean, that's like corruption, like just blatantly like thrown in your face of we're gonna make you feel like you have a say, and that you,
but you don't.
And
you don't.
But really, and you know, unless we're going to be a squeaky wheel. And so we have to be squeaky wheels. We've gotten really complacent in Colorado as cannabis patients. And now we're chasing, and trying to catch up to, oh shit, they're not making these regulations to benefit us. They're making the right regulations to benefit money, taxes. That are not going back into necessarily
industries
into our
that are lobbying against cannabis while also profiting on cannabis. How is that a thing that you can do? I know life is not fair. Listen, I don't expect it to be. One time when I was younger, me and it was in my 20s, definitely, I was chilling with my guy and we were waiting on the movie to start in the movie theater. And we like to people watch. So we were chilling and we were watching all the people. And this kid put some money in the machine and it ate his money. And he went to his dad and he said, "Dad, the machine ate my 50 cents. And his dad looked him straight in his eye and goes, "That's life, kid." And did not give him another 50 cents. And, so I know life is not fair. Look, that was just an example.
Like walking up to
the
counter and being like, "Yo, the machine ate my 50 cents. Can I get it back?"
Yeah. Figure it out. But the point is that life is not fair. And sometimes the machine's going to eat your 50 cents. But how is it legal for you to both lobby against an industry that you're making millions on? How is that legal? I don't get it. How is that a thing?
The same way that we've made cannabis legal and there are still people sitting in jail for it.
Hey, listen. And how we've made cannabis
fun questions like that.
And how we've made cannabis legal in the United States. What are we united about? What part? What part? Like, I got a part. It's going to offend some people, but it starts with white and it ends with supremacy, and that's the part.
Sorry.
Am I wrong?
No,
I'm not. Listen, okay, so look, and then, okay, so in Montana, on May 19th, the legislature amended the language of Initiative 190, reducing the number of homegrown plants to 2 per person in a home and instituting a 20% sales and a cap on THC potency. An executive director of NORML says, "This is yet another recent example of Republican lawmakers pushing back against the majority of voters who support reforming our failed marijuana laws." And absolutely that. Absolutely. Listen, if we vote for it and you put the language, listen, if the language is allowed to be voted on, then that's the language that we voted on. That's what we said we wanted. That's what you give us. Oklahoma had that issue. I don't know the specifics of it, but also Oklahoma lawmakers tried to come in and do that and reform the language that the voters had voted on. And the voters were like, "No, fuck you. We're doing it, and we're doing it now. So you should make regulations around what we're about to be doing." And they just did it. Be like Oklahoma in that sense. There's other things that we could avoid. Probably.
Be like Oklahoma. That's where I grew up too. I mean, well, that
also
was
go just shout out Stone Sisters Pizza.
in Oklahoma City and
In Oklahoma City.
edibles at your local Oklahoma dispensaries throughout.
If you're in Oklahoma, ask for them.
I'll have to, sister, next time we have a road trip east, we'll have to stop in.
Check them out. Yeah, it's delicious pizza. So we just talked about Mississippi. And the initiative process was improper. So crazy. In Florida on April 22nd, the state Supreme Court ruled that an initiative effort by Make It Legal Florida was misleading and that it could not appear on the 2022 ballot. Why was it misleading? Because the organization, first of all, the organization had already compiled more than 500 signatures or 500,000 signatures. They need 900,000 to get on the ballot. Now they're going to have to start over. The misleading language, according to the Chief Justice Charles Canday, a constitutional amendment cannot unequivocally permit or authorize conduct that is criminalized under federal law. So they can't put adult use cannabis or promote it or say that it would be permitted by state law because it's still federally illegal. So there's how do you write an initiative for the state when the state is not ever going to accept it as something? And does this begin a precedent in Florida, and can they go back and overturn other cannabis laws because it's not federally legal? Can they overturn cannabis laws in Florida based on what this is saying? And your vote doesn't matter.
That's where I'm like, what?
Why ask us if you're just going to do what you want to do anyway? The only vote
that matters is to get those legislators out of office. I mean, that's the only. If you're not going to listen to our vote that way, we have to vote in the person that's already speaking our language.
So, okay, here's the thing. I might have one exception to this rule, but if you're old enough to remember being vaccinated for polio and that's how you lived through it, you should not be making decisions about what happens in America today. You are on your way out, and we need people that are going to be here for a while to be making decisions and who understand what it's like to work in America today and live in America today. You know? And with all of my heart and soul, you guys, I love Mr. Bernie Sanders. I do. I love him. I think he does great things for the people. He would be an exception to my rule, except that I honestly think he needs to retire too and do his work in another capacity.
In another capacity, correct. And support that next generation or the next, not the next Bernie Sanders, but yes, again, let's talk about how we can really move our country forward together and not
together. Yes. And I want to say this, and I want to say this too. Having said that about Mr. Bernie Sanders, I also want to say that he was the only one on the 2020 platform that had any cannabis laws that would have benefited us, the people. And that included making sure that these big businesses did not crush small business entrepreneurs and making sure that small businesses could thrive in the market. And yeah, so he had some comprehensive cannabis reform that I could have gotten on board with, but we decided to elect the other old white guy. So I say that's what happened. Majority rule. I know not everybody voted for him. I get it. I'm a write-in kind of girl. I feel you. Listen. Listen, we've been duped, and I know this isn't a political show, but I just want to say this for the record. We've been duped into believing that our system is the only system that works, when in reality, like other major countries have more than two-party systems, and that works, and they have health care, and like they have all kinds of stuff that in America they tell us we can't have. But anyways, that's another show.
Exactly. But we are still very fortunate in terms of things. Sister was telling me about China implementing some new things, like you can be on your phone for like 3 hours a day, or no, 3 hours a week. You get access to internet. Can you imagine if Americans were limited to 3 hours of?
I mean, no, listen, you don't have to imagine it. Listen, you don't have to imagine it, because they're already starting to make laws that are going to hinder our access. So it's already happening. It's happening. We're just it's not what we live with right now, but they're starting to implement it into what our children, and that's, you know what, that's why, Tide Pods aside, Gen Z get it, okay? Because they are woke as fuck. I don't care what nobody has to say. Stop eating shit you're not supposed to be eating, because we need you to have brain cells and such to fight the good fight. They're gonna start a revolution.
Yes, get on it. Have you ever read or
Revolution? But I can shoot a gun.
Ready Player One or read the book?
I have not.
I've listened to it. I haven't seen the movie, but it's a pretty good listen. But he kind of talks about, it's post us using all the energy and not having gas anymore, and what happens, and I don't know, it just gives a whole, like, again, another aspect of like,
I love that shit, because it's not, I used to tell people, I lived in, I'm not bragging, but I lived in Greece for 2 years, and I was in the military, and sometimes these kids would get so upset because they would go out in town or whatever, or they would talk to the Greek nationals who worked on the post with us, and they didn't speak English, and they'd be so upset. And I'm like, but you're in Greece. Like, that's a super entitled standpoint. That's a super entitled opinion you have, that you expect somebody in a country that is not America to speak English to you. Why would you expect that? I don't understand. I like to remind those people, and I would like to remind you all, that one time Greece was a superpower. Everybody falls.
Yes.
And our downfall is the greed of corporations and people who get rich off of corporations. And I'm not downing the rich. There are some good, rich people out there. I am one of them.
I am also one of them.
Change your language. So when you have access to your riches, be a good rich person and do what you're supposed to do. Yes. Don't be one of those, Okay, so Marla's saying, here's some things that you can do aside from the things that we always tell you can do. And we got a couple more things that we're going to talk about here. Make sure you're on the voter registration. So make sure you're on the voter rolls, because there are a lot of states that are suppressing voters in that way by removing them without their knowledge off of the voter rolls. So make sure you are on the voter rolls. Do your own research on all the issues and the people. They send you out a little book so that you can read through it, and then you can look things up. I have discussions with my friends about it too, or people that I know who are more aware of some of the issues or more involved in politics in that way. So
Or understand the language that is put in.
Yeah, like what does this mean? You can look it up. But yeah, definitely do your own research. Don't just believe what everybody's telling you or what the majority rule is saying or what the news is saying, and stop watching Fox News because it's not a real news channel. Go actually vote. Go vote. Actually go vote. I know we've been talking about how your vote is
one thing you do. If there is one thing
but here's the thing. Here's the thing. I know we've been talking about how these states are suppressing the vote, and people are being purged from the voter rolls, and there's long lines and all this stuff. We talk about all that stuff, right? But here's the thing that this is how I always think about it. This right here, if these initiatives are overturned and we really want to get involved, South Dakota, Mississippi, Florida, Montana, Idaho, we haven't talked about them yet, but Idaho, if we want to get involved and we live in these places and we voted for this and they overturned our vote on some bullshit, that sounds like a class action lawsuit to me. Get everybody involved, because now there's proof that you've made that vote and that they made that vote and that there's proof that this was the vote. This was proof. So if they're going to take us to court as a state and overturn what we asked them to do as our representatives, then we can take them to court as a group. Yes, they have more money by themselves than I have by myself, but as a group. And a lot of attorneys, if you have enough people and they believe in the cause, they'll take it on for free until you win that class action, and they'll have something in the contract. What's up? They'll have something in the contract that'll say, they get a percentage of whatever it is, Right. So the point being,
lawyer things.
This kind of, I always point the wrong direction on StreamYard, but this kind of shit that's where my article is over here. This kind of shit is going to continue to happen as long as we allow it to happen. And that's it. And that's the bottom line of it. If you don't want it to happen, then you have to be a part of the solution. We have to be a part of the solution.
Of the discussion.
Definitely of the discussion. It starts here. So I appreciate everybody that's coming through and making commentary today. That's where we start. Because if we keep talking about this and keep talking about it, then we're going to see more people taking action. I want to hit Idaho real quick. Idaho, the legislator is attempting to institute a state constitutional ban on legalizing certain psychoactive drugs such as marijuana. That's in the language. This would prevent any medical or recreational legalization from happening in the state. So they wouldn't even give the voters an opportunity to speak on it. And I know that it is a sticky subject to say, hey, to talk about different parties. Listen, I think that they are two wings of the same bird.
Same bird. I love that.
I don't like this two-party system is bullshit, and it doesn't work. It's absolute bullshit. Here's the thing: these laws and these reinstatements and overturning and all of these things that are happening in Republican-led states.
Hello.
So what's important to you? You got to decide what's important to you.
And then we also have to, when we live in Colorado, so my references are always Colorado driven, but I think about how many Texas plates, that I see, and before, Florida was legal, how, like the Florida, migration.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
And so, but then I was actually talking to some patients who are from Texas, but they actually did move here because of, they wanted access to cannabis, and they actually lobbied for it and helped get it, into their county. And And he was telling me about it. He's like, but we're from Texas. And he's like, and he was talking about that they had just legalized something else or was trying to make it better. I was like, but think about all of the Texans that go home from Colorado. This is their second home, and they go home from Colorado. You think everyone's just leaving their medicine in Colorado for when they come back?
Listen, that's as ludicrous as thinking
where it belongs.
That's as ludicrous as thinking that I'm going to shove a candy bar in your kid's Halloween basket. Do you know how much that shit costs? No, I'm not leaving it here. Are you kidding me right now? I'm driving the speed limit back home. That's what I'm doing. Are you kidding?
So, no. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and so again, it's this thing, like, you want your cake and eat it too. And so I'm just going to go travel to Colorado and utilize their benefits, and then go back and vote for my, senators and
or not supported by a state.
It's crazy to me. So that's the thing is, if you're going to vote Republican, maybe there should be some Republicans that care about your health as much as they care about the other things. This is the thing. Look.
Is that even a word that gets to associated with?
No. Listen, put that aside. Let's put that aside. I don't give a shit what your governor, your mayor, your senator, whoever believes in. I don't care what they believe in. And I don't honestly care what you believe in. Here's what I know you believe in, though. You believe that your vote counts, right? So I'm just talking to people who choose the conservative and or Republican type parties. Okay. And there's sub parties within that, but I'm speaking to you directly. Listen, we don't see eye to eye on a lot of shit. I'm very progressive. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm for humanity, whatever benefits humans, every human. Don't care about their life. Like, if they not hurting me or themselves or somebody else, I don't give a shit. Look, but one thing we can agree on is that if you vote on it and a majority votes on it, well, we might not be able to agree on that after the last election, but hear me out. If you vote on it and a majority votes on it, and we're not talking about people, we're talking about like a ballot measure, and then the person you voted for says, I don't like that. I know you voted for it, and you also voted for me to speak for you. The majority, 70% is a majority. That means that also a lot of
that is a majority number. Yeah, that
means also a lot of Republicans voted for this. This subject goes across party lines. Yes, this subject goes across party lines. It is becoming more acceptable across both parties. So what we can agree on is that if you vote for a ballot initiative and that ballot initiative gets a majority vote, that you probably are not going to be happy that the person you voted for didn't go and speak for you, but went instead and spoke for themselves. Right? I feel like we can agree on that. So if you're going to elect somebody from the Republican Party, hold them to task.
Yeah, hold them accountable for what they got elected for. If that's what they're
that's some corrupt shit.
Or what
that's corruption, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's some corrupt shit. I'm gonna tell you this: if I vote for a progressive or whomever I vote for on the left, I do a lot of write-in stuff. I'm a rebel. If I vote for that person gets elected into office, and then tears down a ballot initiative that a majority of the people, myself included, also voted for, I'm going to have a big problem with that. We're going to have a conversation about whether or not you should be holding office. Did I hire the right person for this position? Listen, it's a job, right? If you don't do your job, what happens?
Why do you get to stay there if you're not doing your job?
And when it comes to cannabis, South Dakota, you're not doing your job. Florida, you're not doing your job. Idaho, you're not doing your job. Montana, you're not doing your job.
Montana.
You're just not doing your job. Who did I miss? Mississippi, you're not doing your fucking job.
Oh, Minnesota's doing something good. My sister sent me a...
I want to say too, Colorado, you're not doing your job. I still want to talk to Jared Paulus.
Colorado.
Tag him.
Doing,
Jared Paulus.
It doesn't matter what party. Make sure the person is holding to what you want them to. If they aren't, then yes, vote
hold to their word. They said they were going to be this person when you elected them, and if they're not going to do the job that you elected them to do, then they don't get to hold office.
Exactly.
I don't care if it's about cannabis or anything else, but that is what we talked about today.
Funny, I am still a registered Republican. I registered it when I was allowed to register, and I never changed it because I was, parental influence kind of thing, and I just never changed it. And
well, apparently we have a Republican on the show. She said, no Republicans are listening to your asses, but like apparently we have one right here on the show.
Registered Republican, not
I'm a registered Democrat, and the only reason I'm a registered, I was not prior to the 2016 election. But the only reason I registered as a Democrat was because that was the only way that I could go vote in the primary for Bernie Sanders. So I registered as a Democrat.
Yes. So a little fun fact. Oh, happy 420 East Coast.
West Coast. Nope, West Coast.
Sorry, West Coast. I made it. I caught it.
Crazy.
Anyone from the West Coast with us today? Happy 420.
I think Dusty's still on West Coast time until time change. And then he comes over to the dark side.
To the dark side. So my sister sent me an article from Ganjapreneur that Minnesota dispensaries are hosting cannabis expungement clinics. So the medical cannabis dispensaries in Minnesota are partnering with volunteer attorneys from St. Paul's Mitchell Hamlin School of Law to host expungement clinics and help people clear their records of nonviolent cannabis charges.
Nice. Here's I know. Listen, let me just be devil's advocate here. Y'all know who they are. Why do people have to go and expunge their own cannabis record? You know who they are, and you know what their record is. Don't tell me you don't. That's a lie. You can get it. You can figure it out. So what you're telling me is, not only did they have to serve time and spend time away from their family and missing out on life and missing out on skills that they could have acquired over that time, and also not being able to, in the evolution of the cannabis industry, not being able to work in this industry in the skill set that they know they have, because that's what they were arrested for. Okay, we got that person. You took all of that away from them, and now you're like, go figure out how to expunge your own record. Shouldn't you do that for them at the very fucking least?
Yeah.
I think you owe them something.
Or at least make that list that they're supposed to be on very easily accessible, because that's what's also happening is that they're getting buried, and not, being.
So when we talked to the Cannabis Project in Missouri, that's one of the problems that they face, is that they can't find these individuals. It's not on the registry for some reason, and then they have to access like a family or a friend to find out about them. This is what they were saying. So I feel like there's a better way for sure. I don't know if that's like that in every state or anything, but it seems a little bit like, why can't I find these people to, they know where they are.
Right.
Listen, they know where they are as much as the military knows exactly where I am, even right now. And I haven't been in the military actively or in the reserves for years, but they know where I'm at.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So I think that don't make these prisoners of the cannabis or the drug war, don't make them also work harder
Right.
So
Then,
that they
then
can,
the thought of them having to go find a lawyer to file their,
okay,
paperwork to get the, like that.
this is
Exactly.
so intricate. When we think about it, like, it's not just this surface level, oh, you have to go do some paperwork. No, no, that's not it. It's anyway.
Yes, very intricate. And that's, again, we wrote our letters in to comment on the
Should be public record.
decriminalization bill. And that's one of my comments was, it's all in the details. Y'all are saying the right words and saying the right headlines, but you're not giving any of the details of how your social equity will work, or what the will go back to, and protecting small businesses, and not allowing for big industry.
It's so vague. It's
So
so vague.
it was
So that it
vague.
can be fully loopholed. It's the feature, not the flaw. It's the feature, not the flaw. And also, I told you that I had new terminology, and I feel like it's better terminology. You don't have to go with me on this, but I think it sounds better than communities of color or people of color. And that is the global majority.
The global majority.
The global majority does not look like me.
Do we know? Do we have the? Do we know?
I don't know the exact numbers, but I can tell you there's a lot of melanin out there.
Sister,
get on it.
Find me an answer.
Listen, it's the only reason I like TikTok is because I learn things and I grow. Sometimes I get frustrated, like when they take my flyer down because it has a cannabis leaf on it. It's just a flyer. There's nobody.
It didn't even have.
They were like, illegal. It's illegal. And I was like, but it's not. It could be hemp for all you know. Get out of here.
And because we use the word, it's just a word. It's not even. I mean,
it's in the dictionary.
Should I start using a @ symbol or something in the middle of that figure?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what TikTok, but speaking of TikTok, we are trying to get to 1,000 followers. I don't know why. So that we can go live together. I can go live on my channel currently, as long as they don't ban me.
And I cannot, because I do not post enough.
And then
that is our challenge too. That's my challenge, is that we want to get to 1,000 followers. I want to get more comfortable with the social aspect of putting my, I don't know, doing those things.
I have to send you a picture of this thing.
So yes, we
thank you.
So share us. We are also twitch.tv/cannabiscloset420. If you're not watching us there, if you do join us there, it's a fun way to interact with us, and a good way for us to start being able to monetize quickly. We are looking to do this for like the full time, like a full time. We would like to be able to travel with our podcast, come to your state, talk to your people, have a show. And this is the piece that we, when we get to 1,000 followers, we will go live and we will do a little drawing of who gets to take this home. And so it's did we name him yet?
I don't think we named him yet. He does have a banger and a bowl. I just want to let you guys know that.
Banger Beast. What is it?
That's his screen name. That's his screen name. Did you see that? Like, why are you saying that?
Like, what is that?
No, that's his screen name. So yeah, we're giving this away when we reach 1,000 followers on our TikTok. And I feel like we might have another giveaway right after that, so that we can also boost our Instagram. So if you guys want to follow us on Instagram too, and that would be very helpful. Follow us everywhere you see us.
Follow us, share.
Very helpful. It's the thing about being on a camera as part of the thing that we do, is that we actually have to participate in the social media aspect. But I would say, okay, so China has the largest ethnic majority, but Chinese people are also not white. And I'm totally incorrect, she says also. So she's still doing the research on that. We're just going in the moment. And that's what I want to tell you guys, to be in the moment.
Hit us up at cannabiscloset420@gmail.com if you want to hear us talk about anything in particular or specific to your state, your questions. And
I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed at the action we're getting, or the non-action we're getting in our Gmail. Email us, talk to us, have a conversation with us. We would love it.
I don't, maybe people are, I would think that we don't have any like reason to not get emails from somebody, but we also have a Discord,
Yeah, and if you want to invite to that Discord, then shoot us over an email, and
Sister is the worst Googler, but she also always is a plethora of information.
It's okay. So, we'll figure it out. But I think I would say that, yeah, I like the global majority. I would prefer it. I don't even, at this point, I don't know if I care if it's true. I don't even know if I care if it's true. What's up, Audrey? So yeah, so if you want to join us on our Discord, just say the word and we will share with you an invite. Hit us up on any of our platforms, message us and just say, I want to invite to Discord. The only rule in Discord is to be nice to everybody. If you are a bully, don't even bother, because we'll kick you right on out. We don't have time for that kind of shit.
We will greet you out the door while we talk shit about you.
Yeah, we will. I'll talk mad shit about you. Don't be a bully.
Don't be a bully. They suck.
Yeah. So, we got into it today. I feel like we got. How you guys feel about the conversation today? It was pretty good, huh?
Is there anything we didn't cover? Is there anything on the normal page that we didn't?
I think we covered a lot of the headlines.
Did we want to talk about the one place in South Dakota where people are getting?
Yes. Oh God, I'm so glad you said that. I don't want to leave before we talk about that.
This is from Forbes. Let me go ahead and throw it up on the screen here. Let me get this over the right. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
What was it doing? Not what you wanted to do. Listen, if we don't have a technical difficulty at least once in the show, then is it even really a show?
I hit that go back and it took me back to the Google page, and then now I have to go back, and it takes my computer a minute because she's, chugging along and also streaming.
She's
and
doing a great job,
She's doing a great job. Like, she is a...
While we're waiting for that to load, I just want to say the good news in cannabis. States that have recently passed legalization laws include New York, New Jersey, New Mexico, and Virginia. But those states passed with 0 Republican support and some Democratic opposition as well. So like I said, 2 wings of the same bird. But understand that they did pass, and the voters are getting exactly what they asked for that. I don't think so. I'm going to say they're not. There's too many children who are not who are mixed race in this world. I'm just going to say they're not, because I believe that. You guys, you can correct me still. It's okay.
All right.
I'm gonna call people what they want to be called, honestly. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh yeah. So we have to include. Yeah. So when we talk about people who are not white, I would say no. I would disagree with that, because there are plenty of people who are that have melanin in their skin, and lots of it, and are not white, and not just in America, but like all over the world. And in America itself, the white majority is starting to be less and less. So I'm going to say, I don't know. Let's do more research on that, everybody. So the Sioux tribe opening its first legal marijuana business in South Dakota. Well, somebody in South Dakota is doing something right.
And they're working on the fact that they work as a reservation laws, like, and they have their own, like, they don't.
She said a
right? I don't know that. What?
Listen, y'all, I love all of the different terminology for describing white people. I can't even stand it. It makes me laugh so hard. It makes me laugh so hard. I know I am white. I know, but I mean, you can call me unseasoned if you want. I'm not, but but I crack up every time I see a video that has some kind of like different word or different phrase to describe who the person in the video is talking about. And I know they're not talking about me, so it's okay. I mean, some of them might be. That's okay too. Okay, I want to say, but can I just say before we get on this suit, while your computer's loading up everything, the unused crayon. That's a good one too. Don't be ashamed of being a whatever cornstarch crusader. You know, whatever you want to. There's so many. Don't be ashamed of that. Use the privilege that you have to not be the person that they're talking about, to be better.
Use your non-color to be heard.
Use your transparency. Well, not just to be heard, but not for you to be heard. You've been heard. We've been heard. To make sure others are heard. And sometimes we gotta sit back and shut the fuck up for that, but not on this podcast, but you know, elsewhere.
So we gave casinos. Okay. So Sioux Tribe opening first legal marijuana business in South Dakota. How you say? We just said they're shutting things down. Despite voter approval, legal cannabis is on pause in South Dakota, everywhere except for a tiny town located on an Indian reservation where the Flandreau Santee Sioux will open the state's first legal cannabis business this week. Isn't that an amazing picture there? I'm trying to keep it on there. So I don't know if it's how readable that is on screen, but last fall, South Dakota became the first state in the U.S. to legalize adult use marijuana at the same time as medical cannabis when voters approved a pair of ballot measure. Little has gone to plan since then. A lawsuit backed by the state Republican Governor Kristen Noem may scuttle recreational cannabis, and bureaucratic and legislative roadblocks may delay the state's medical marijuana program from selling its first gram until mid-2022. But starting July 1st, anyone with a medical cannabis recommendation from any state will be able to walk into an old police station in Flandreau, a town of about 2,200 people, 40 minutes north of Sioux Falls, and buy legal cannabis at the Native Nations Cannabis Dispensary, owned and operated by the Flandreau Santee Sioux Tribe.
They opened it way up. They were like, anybody with a medical cannabis card can
anyone. The tribe is capitalizing on increased acceptance of cannabis as well as their legal rights as a sovereign nation to become the first legal cannabis in South Dakota, said Seth Pearman, the tribe's attorney general, in an interview on Wednesday. Oh my gosh, should we try and get to that dispensary and do a little show and go shop?
Yes. Absolutely.
Under an Obama-era Department of Justice memorandum, federally recognized Indian tribes with cannabis businesses that obeyed state law and kept weed out of the hands of criminals and minors were not priorities for prosecution. The Flandreau Santee first tried to open up a cannabis business in 2015, but chose to close up business and burn its first crop under pressure from law enforcement. Of course.
Yes, of course.
That is a picture of a law enforcement officer cutting down plants during a raid in 2015 of the Yurok Indian reservation.
Y'all just gonna ruin good medicine like that. Ugh. And then you know what makes me mad about, like, can we just pause for a second and let me tell you what makes me mad about that is, first of all, my aura is back.
I know.
The sun is setting. what makes me mad about that is that these same people that do this kind of stuff and make these kind of laws and everything, like what's his name, John Boehner, then retire and get into cannabis or use cannabis to better their health or whatever the case may be. And I'm just like, but you spend so much time making sure nobody else could have that, and then you use your privilege. Oh, I can't.
Sister mentioned earlier that these politicians, they go back to DC where it's recreational, adult use legal, and they get to just go ahead
use
and
it freely and open.
It, no big deal. And just saying. So,
not saying anything except what we're saying.
The rest of this article, just real quick to sum it up, that meant waiting until South Dakota caught up to other states legalizing cannabis. After that happened last November, the Flandreau-Santee pushed forward with writing and passing its own cannabis regulations that apply within the boundaries of its reservation. Though the state won't issue medical cards until November, and though dispensaries won't open up until next year, the state's medical laws take effect July 1st. In sum, all this means anyone buying cannabis in the reservation under the Flandreau-Santee's own cannabis laws, which are consistent with state law while also being independent in an arrangement called a compact, won't risk prosecution once leaving the reservation, Pearman says. Tribe will issue medical cannabis cards to anyone with a qualifying condition, but the tribe will also recognize anyone with a medical cannabis recommendation from another state. If the Supreme Court dismisses the complaint brought by NOAM and state law enforcement officials against Amendment A, the dispensary will also sell cannabis products to anyone 21 and over. The state's first cannabis business, a long but doable drive from nearby big cities without legal cannabis like Minneapolis, is already employing 15 people and could generate as much as $1 million in revenue a month, tribal officials told the Sioux Falls Argus Leader, which I'm assuming is a paper. The Flandreau-Santee already have a casino on the reservation, but cannabis could get as big as gaming and be as viable of a revenue source.
Easily.
It will also provide jobs and economic opportunities and programs on the reservation, like housing, roads, and schools, where there have been deficiencies for decades. There's still a possibility that NOAM or other authorities in South Dakota law enforcement could decide to take action. That would be vastly unpopular and would also violate the reservation's federally protected status as a sovereign nation, potentially triggering a legal battle. For now, that seems unlikely. We're all good for July 1st, Pearman says. I haven't had any communication otherwise.
So that's good news. And I'm glad to see them doing it. And I hope to see more tribes do that.
Credits for Chris Roberts wrote that for Forbes magazine. Check it out if you want to click on any of those links through the story.
Yeah. That's amazing. I love it. And New York, there's a tribe in New York doing this as well. So they're going to open right on up.
So I feel like, I don't know, are the Seminole tribes doing it in Florida? I'm not sure. Like they have.
It would be smart though. I mean, if you already have medical cannabis laws on the books.
And I think the licensing, I don't know. Yeah, the whole licensing issue that hemmed Florida up for a minute. They probably are like, we're gonna just do our. I mean,
it's tribal, so they can't. Like you were saying, they have their own set of laws and rules.
Yeah.
So
as long as they're following the state law, but they can do it within their own.
Exactly. I think more if they they are so corporate now. I think that if more tribes start doing this, that it's going to be big, like the casinos. They could really make a lot of money off of it, and I would spend money there.
Make some white people mad.
Yeah, so what?
That's gonna do it better.
Well, of course. Listen, we could get into this. We're not gonna, but white people definitely get mad when you do it better, and then they come in and try to burn shit down. But we do have treaties and stuff like that in place to protect tribal nations. So yeah, but we've seen the American white supremacist government come in and burn down whole towns, because they proved that they could do it better and on their own. So,
yeah.
You know,
I grew up outside of that town and did not know anything about it until I moved here.
Because they don't teach it in the history books.
No, they do not. And
then when they do teach it in the history books, what do they call it? A race war or something like that.
If anyone does not know, that is look up the Black Wall Street in Oklahoma.
And it's not the only one. It's just the most well-known. It's not the only place that happened, though.
Correct. But the fact that it happens in one place, it's happening everywhere else, people. So, and that is the fact of the matter, and why, again, we are discussing what we discuss here on the Cannabis Closet. Hey, Care. So, yeah.
Yeah, you know, what we discuss about cannabis absolutely ties into all of the other things. I mean, because first of all, when we talk about stuff like this, I just want to remind everybody that cannabis has been legal in the United States and all over the world for much longer periods of time than it has been illegal. So absolutely, we can take our power back and be where we want to be. We just have to fight together to get what we want, and we have to make decisions, you know, based on those things. Like, we have to really pay attention to who we're hiring to do jobs and what the legislation says, and are they corrupt? Are they going to listen to us or not listen to us? And, you know, those kind of things.
And then there's companies that are also thinking on the bigger scale of the import export. As soon as it does open up and it opens up for trade, we know how things work and capitalism works. So don't be fooled to think that it won't get into that sense. And I guess if you are a business entrepreneur, get in where you fit in, and create your business, but also protect yourself and be in those rooms. Lobby for what we can do to keep our cannabis beautiful and safe.
That's a really good idea, Marla, and we will work on getting that done before month's end. Thank you for that idea. Appreciate that. We'll discuss what that looks like and how that's going to work. Yeah. Man, what a great show today.
Thanks everyone that showed up. Thanks everyone
you guys
popping into the comments.
This is the hottest the comments have ever been, and we really appreciate y'all. And we appreciate everybody who shares the feed and shares the posters that we put up and everything. We really appreciate y'all. We are trying to increase our numbers on all of our platforms, so definitely look for us anywhere you go. We're Cannabis Closet 420 at gmail.com. You can also find us by
I did that.
You can also, if you can't find us under Cannabis Closet 420, you can find us at TikTok. It's at TCCP because it's TikTok. But everywhere else, you can look the Cannabis Closet podcast. So Facebook and YouTube, for example, that's how you're going to find us on there. And Cannabis Closet 420 on many of the other platforms. Is where you can find us. We really appreciate all of the love and support that you guys are giving us. And it's not going unnoticed. I promise you that. Anything else? What else we want to do? Oh, if you guys know somebody that needs an education or needs a turnaround or needs help building up, give us a call, 970-426-5985. That's CQ LLC Cannabis Consulting. We'll be happy to come out and help educate your staff, train your staff, help hire your staff, help you build up your store, whatever you need. And if you guys are walking into
we are happy to do community events as well. Yeah, we'll talk about and support what the cannabis community does for the community.
Yes. You can email us customer service cqllc@gmail.com. We really believe that education can help make a better industry. And so that's what we're all about. And we'd love to come hang out with you and your staff and make sure that everything's going the way it should be going. We're really smart and we're pretty.
We're fucking awesome and fun.
Yeah. I only yell a little bit. It's just
You got to be able to hang with us, though, in terms of you're smoking blunts.
Absolutely. Well, shoot. With that said, we should smoke that last one, huh? Before we go.
Yeah.
You guys, don't forget to be nice to yourself. Remember that the things that you want are going to come to you fully. You don't have to chase them. Just know that they're already yours and they're going to be on their way to you soon. You just got to access them. So first step first, be nice to yourself. And the reason I say that is because remember, I say this too. You got to put your mask on first before you can assist others. Okay. So be nice to yourselves.
Cultivate love, cultivate what you need to grow. Yes, all puns intended. I love being literally pun like that.
It's punny.
It's punny. Yeah, manifest what is before you. Like that is, I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen for others. And so
cape up. I like that too. And y'all come hang out with me and exercise on my Discord. You don't have to do the exercise. You can just hang out. Come hang out and talk to me while I do the workout. Maybe I'll motivate you. Maybe I won't, but who cares? I do it for here.
Come Discord with us. Come Discord with us. Or just wait and look. I mean, we definitely coffee and cannabis. If you wanna do the exercises, or if you just want a good view, come on, join us.
Just want a good view. She'll be doing squats and stuff. It's crazy. You guys, stay lifted as always. We love you. Thanks for all the love and support.